Bagley. Hello, everyone. Time is 6 o'clock. Today is Monday, March 1st, 2021. This is the regular meeting of the Community Development Corporation of Los Fresnos. Under item A, call the meeting to order. Item B, invocation and pledge of allegiance.
Let's pray. Father, we thank you for this day, and we thank you for each one here this evening, and thank you for their efforts and the time that they give for this board and for the good of our community. And we just thank you for all of that. Be with them tonight as they make decisions, and maybe the best for our community. We ask this in Christ's name, amen.
Item C, Citizens Forum. Ms. Jackie, anybody sign up? Negative? Moving on to item D, action items under 1. Consideration and action to approve the minutes of February 1st, 2021. They're contained in the packets, by the way.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes from February 1st, 2021. And I'll second the motion to approve the minutes of February 1st, 2021.
There's a motion and a second. We approve the minutes as contained in the packets we have here today for February 1st, 2021. All those in favor, or I'm sorry, any questions, comments, further discussion? That being the case, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it, it's unanimous. Moving on to item D2, consideration and action to acknowledge the February 20 financial report under A, monthly, B, year-to-date, and C, sales tax report. Mr. Milo.
Yes, sir. Members of the sorry about that. On the monthly report, you can see that our revenue for sales tax and interest was $56,822. For the month, we had 43,3004. If you look on page 9, it kind of breaks down that interest in the sales tax. The sales tax takes up $213.05. I mean, $213,505.01. Yes, a little different. And then I'll make note of below that, you see miscellaneous income, which is something we don't have normally. It's $871.62. What that is part of the park benches that we have. Someone donated a park bench, so that's the money coming in for the park bench, and then there'll be expenditure for the same amount. So we'll have 3 park benches when they come in. The next 2, 3, 4 pages is just a summary of the different budget categories that they go in, and if you look at the percentages, we're fine on everything. A little bit high on insurance, but we pay those once a year, so there's still another one that's up for payment on that, so we're still in good shape. But everything is trending good on our budget. And that brings us to page 15, which is our sales tax report. And that's even greater or more grandioso or more wonderful. It's 39.78% increase over last year. If you see, if you'll recall, the first part is the total, the middle kind of block is the city portion, and the right box is half a cent for the CDC portion, and we collected $56,822.54 for this past month. Actually, it was, you know how it runs, February, it was actually December, so we had a good Christmas season, that looks like, compared to last year at $40,651.85, so tremendous increase, almost 40%, brings us 17.82% for the year increase in sales tax. Our businesses in town are healthy, and that's good. That's all my report, unless you have questions.
That's good news, and on a great report, Mr. Monahan. Anybody have any questions? Do we hear a motion?
I'll go ahead and make a motion to acknowledge the February 2021 financial report, A, monthly, B, year, the date report, and the C, sales tax report.
And I'll second the motion to acknowledge the February 2021 financial report, A, monthly, B, year-to-date, C, sales tax report.
There's a motion and a second on the floor. We acknowledge the February 2020 financial report, monthly, year-to-date, and sales tax. We've already had a little discussion. Anybody have any questions, comments, or discussion? That being the case, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it, it's unanimous. Under D3, discussion and possible action on amendments of the Los Fresnos Community Development Corporation bylaws. Mr. Milo.
I can start, and then you and Daniel can chip in. If you'll recall, one of the things that was asked for us to review the bylaws, and as Jackie and I went through them, and then we handed them over to Daniel and Henry for review. If you'll see on page 17, the highlighted, we need to change the address. It had the address from the old City Hall. The next page, page 18, it says with approval by City Council. We're going to take that out because if you read the whole document, it says that if the president or the vice president were to die or leave office, then the city council would replace that, but yet they're not involved in the original selection of the president and vice president. You folks do that. So I think that the intent was not that, so we're going to assume that the intent wasn't. They only approve who's selected on the board, and them getting involved in who you decide as a board yourself, who's going to be the president, vice president, really should stay with y'all and not with them. That has been the practice since before I got here, so I don't know when it changed, or even if they really intended it for there. So that's the change there, is to strike that out. And then on the next page, back at page 19, you can see the previous thing that struck out is the annual meeting of the board shall be on the first Monday of February of each year at 7 p.m. And we're taking that out and suggesting that it be the annual meeting of the board shall be the regular meeting in February of each year. Doesn't specify the day, like Monday, and it doesn't specify the time, because who knows, in 5 years, this board might say, we can't meet on Mondays anymore. We would rather meet on Thursdays or whatever. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but I don't think the bylaws should dictate when you meet. And so it would be just the regular meeting at the regular time in February. And the rest of the document looks pretty sound and refers a lot to the statute, which is what created the Economic Development Corporation in the first place. So we don't see any others. I know Daniel sent and reviewed, and he said he didn't see any others. I'll let Daniel or Henry speak to that.
Thank you, Mr. Milam. I guess I'll start. Yeah, I spent some time looking at it this morning, and I found the same thing. Those were the only two statements that I thought can be modified and still not affect the intent of the document and of the bylaws in any way. I reviewed again the rest of the document. I didn't see a problem with anything that was written in there. I thought everything was very factual and on point. Those are the basic comments that I've got. I'll pass it on over to you, Mr. Waters.
I agree with what both Mr. Milam and Danny said. I don't have any further comment. The only comment I have is that the city staff, Mr. Milam and both Jackie and maybe, I don't know who else helped, but you can take from our packets, the bylaws, you'll have a copy of them from now on because this is something that I think I've been here about 10 years before I saw a copy of the bylaws. So if you want to just pull them out and staple them, you'll have your own copy of the bylaws. Okay, that's my only comment.
And if I can make one more comment, probably be a good idea. I'd recommend to have the Articles of Confederation. Excuse me, Articles of Incorporation. I recommend they be added to a folder for all the members to carry with them. I think they're pretty nice to have handy, available to everybody, so that before our meetings, if there's any questions or you want to preview what gives us guidance, I think they're great documents to have available in the folder. As I do, I have 3-ring binder that I use for that purpose.
So the annual meeting on February will still be at 6 o'clock, correct, Ms. Fine?
For right now, or unless y'all change them, it'll be whatever the regular meeting time is. And so in the future, we wouldn't have to do like we did last month.
And that was my concern, because I know we were here for about an hour sitting here and twiddling our thumbs. But yeah, I agree. 6 o'clock, that is stated their regular meeting in February.
Good. Do I hear any motion on item D3?
I make a motion that we approve the amendments proposed for the corporation bylaw, Community Development Corporation bylaws as highlighted and discussed.
With second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second that we approve the amendments to the Los Fresnos Community Development Corporation bylaws as indicated by the handout and as dictated or as articulated by Mr. Milam. Any questions, comments, discussion? That being the case, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it, unanimous. Let me go to the back of this page. Under okay, here we go. It's because it's separated on different pages. It's item E, report by CDC consultant under 1. CDC consultant report for February 21, business development, ecotourism, and quality of life. C, industrial development, and D, workforce and training. Mr. Martinez.
Good evening, board members. As you can see, the report submitted in your packet. Business development has been very good. January and February, of course, in terms of business development, we've had about 9 applications for permits. Normally, we have 12 applications for small business permits in City Hall. Right now, we have 6. that have already been approved. We are in process, so that's a good indicator that our small business community is trying to reboot as we open the economy. We also have the 4 subdivisions. One, as you can tell, expanding this in this area behind City Hall, and the one looking to develop in this area as well. And of course, the one in Walmart. So, by Walmart, that's also trying to finish up. So, that's going to create more roofs, more business, more families coming to those rooms. Overall, you can see the information I wrote to you there on this area of work. But that's a highlight. It's the economy seems to be reopening, and you can see the numbers as well coming in sales tax. The economic, ecotourism and quality of life projects, I'm going to move this a little bit. What is the report, what happened today? The Senator's office called, and an update on the 2 resolutions or initiatives that we submitted to the state, which is the park and Los Escondidas funding. And they reported, Chris from his office, that's the legislative director, reported that they were going to start meetings next week on all these initiatives, budget, etc. So hopefully we're en route with that one. We will be getting more letters of support for that initiative from organizations in town, including the chamber and others, to support our initiative. The other one is, of course, our little nature awareness that we're working with, trying to get TxDOT to give us permission. They've referred it to TxDOT. We'll see what happens. Anyway, we're assertively working on promoting our nature. Another one of the important areas is we've got all the quotes for projects that you all funded, and staff is going to review, or Mr. Milam and myself will review and get them started. They all fell within budget. Finally, I wanted to give you a little bit of industrial development information. The way we work, we don't have an industrial park, we work with Port of Brownsville in communicating. As you well know, during this period, the communications have been through either virtual or meetings that happened. We were very, very busy with it before a year ago, but things kind of slowed down because of the crisis. But in there you can see what the port activity is, and it's been ongoing. The numbers look positive, which means jobs in the area for our market to work and come back home. So, be reporting on that to you as it happens. Any questions? Any recommendations? Thank you.
I have a question. Mr. Martinez, thank you. Just wondering, did you get any reports on any of the damages at the nature park due to the freezing weather?
Oh, damages in terms of, yeah, we're not there. I saw some of the plants, and we're leaving it for a couple of weeks more, see what survived and what didn't. And, but we'll give you a report next time and find out how we're going to approach it to remedy that. I work with a committee out there. They're very expert people. I'm just a get it done type of, but there have been some damages to some plants, and we'll bring you that back and tell you how we're going to remedy it. Fortunately, you have some funds of $10,000 prior that you have to remedy things like these that's happened, or upgrades, and we have the funding available from you to replant if that's the case. Okay. Anything else, sir?
Thank you, Mr. Martinez.
Thank you.
That concludes your report, Mr. Martinez.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. Moving on to item F1, report by general manager. Under A, website, B, cameras, C, park benches, D, infrastructure project caution lights. Mr. Mylum.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Wanted to just visit with the website, because we couldn't talk about it much last month because it was on a check versus actually something listed. James Harris does the technical part of keeping up and managing the website for both the city and the CDC. We have to feed them that information just because we know those technical things that we want on there, and we look, like emergency management's very involved with the COVID testing and the COVID vaccinations. And so we want to keep that current and fluid on there. Whereas the guy that actually does the stuff, he's not familiar with that. So we tell him what to do, and then he upgrades those things to kind of tell him how we want it. And so we've been trying to work to better have the CDC page. And I don't understand it all, but when you type it in so that Google brings it up as your first choice. So we're working on that to help when you do a search, it comes up. The chamber, I'm not sure if they use Mr. Harris as well, solely or partially. They had another gentleman that was doing their website for them. So we do have links from our page to the chamber, and we also have links to school, to the rodeo, to stock show, to anything that is promoted within the community. And we try to tie them so that if you're on, say, the chamber website, and you say, you know what, let me go to the city, you can hit a link and go to the city, and vice versa. Same as the school. We can, the idea is if you're on the school website, you can, well, let me check out the city, and you could go there. Or if you're at the city or the CDC, you can hit a button, just one click, and it takes you to the school district and see what's going on there. So hope that explains a little bit. Cameras, we're working on something. There is, you might write this down, EarthCam. If you've got some time to research that. We're not certain that's where we're headed with it, but we got with our IT person that does cameras and does some stuff here for the city. And you have to kind of build infrastructure for this to happen. With them doing some research, as far as Robert with him and then Dale in-house, EarthCam is something that they've come up with that we're exploring. You have to send in your request through email, and then they get back to you, and they just got back today. But the idea would be is they host that for you, and they do this all over the country, and I think it would be, or preliminary look seems like it would be fantastic in order to, because you're on a similar site, well then you would be able to connect directly into the city. And so there would be some ties in with similar places around the valley that are doing the same thing that EarthCam oversees. I don't know if that's enough information for today, but we'll bring back something. Number one, what's the cost? What does it do? Can we do 1 camera, 2 cameras, 10 cameras? And there's options of whether it can be live or, I think, delayed a certain amount. Live, of course, is more expensive because it's real time, and it takes more storage and more I don't know. takes more than to do that than to, have it not live and repeat later. So anyway, don't know if that's enough information. Anything else, questions that might direct us more? But I think we're going on the right direction with that.
Can you utilize that for any public events as well?
Probably not. Probably that would be the more of the static things that you have at the bird blind, the more of the static thing that you have at the butterfly areas and some of those things. It wouldn't be, I mean, we would have to, in order to have something live, you would have to hire people to run cameras and, for a parade, and I think that's what we were talking about before, or one of our events. That would get into something much more. But doesn't mean that we can't explore it, but. Anything else?
That concludes your report, Mr. Meyer.
No, let me do park benches. Park benches, I kind of mentioned the payment. They are ordered. Hopefully they'll come in and we'll get them installed and show you a picture of them. Three of them will go to the nature park. We'll put one a quarter of the way, half, and 3/4 of the way, and that way people can rest if they need to rest. And they look good. And then the last one on the caution lights here for fire and EMS, TxDOT still hasn't done anything, which when they get ready, they'll do it. Until then, we just wait.
I know it's not on the agenda, but as far as the baseball park, how's that going? The Little League park?
Give me summarize or next time.
Yes, next time he'll summarize it because it's not on the agenda. But he'll put it on there and cover it.
Okay, that's fine. Thanks. That's all I have.
That concludes your report, Mr. I'm sorry, Tom, go ahead.
One more question. In the park bench, how many park benches are you looking for the park in total?
I don't think that you ever get too many. There's all kinds of places to put them. These are going to go at Nature Park. We need more at Memorial Park. We need more at Community Park, and we'll need more at the Nature Park. So, as part of that other project, I can't remember if we did 2 or 4. Do you remember, Desi? It's 2 or 4 as part of the area where you funded to watch the butterfly area, and I can't remember if there's 2 benches or 4 benches, but so that you can sit there and view.
Desi's making a sign that there was 2.
I have a question, Mark. I have a question referring to the baseball. Are we gonna have a season, and do we know anything about opening of a season?
I think we can discuss that next week when it's on the agenda, just so that we don't, run into the Open Meetings Act.
I can, because it's just the information. There will be some items on the city council agenda that will address those items. Right now, the parks are closed. I can do that as information. The parks are closed, which means the fields are closed. There is going to be an item Tuesday night on the city council agenda to discuss those item by item. It was discussed last meeting, but is in open the parks or not, and that nothing happened. So, but we'll know for next time.
Yeah, I guess what I was trying to get to is just find out the status on our park, as far as, 'cause I know we went through some infrastructure as far as rebuilding the field and the dugouts and stuff. And that's all I was asking, and I know it wasn't on the agenda, so if you can, just provide us something for the next meeting as far as where we're at on the progress on the park status.
Okay, yeah, no, I don't see a problem with that. I've noticed something that whenever someone speaks, we kind of all look around to see who it is that's speaking. So maybe we can get in the habit of, as we speak, raise your hand, just for the rest of us, because I know a little while ago when Danny spoke, we were all looking around. And, just, if, when you do speak, raise your hand, that way we know, who it is that's speaking. It's not on the agenda, but I just thought I'd throw that out. That concludes your report, Mr. Miles.
Yes, sir. That's information purposes only.
Thank you. Item G1, we'll take the quick route with committees. Anybody have anything to report? Any questions, comments, discussion? That being the case, item H, meeting adjourned. Time is 6:33.